So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay live for the first 30 minutes of the session. All right. And I'm going to go back through these stocks and show you guys. All right. That's my bad. So I'm going to stay live for 30 minutes for free. All right. And, oh, my back. And I will help you guys out. Okay. That's my bad. QQQ Lits, $499.61 to $500.45. LITS, $499.61 to $500.45. Josh, do you even trade broski? Chris, yes, I trade. Why would I not trade? Right now, I'm just getting traders prepared for the day, helping them out so they can actually come in, make some money on good trades. But yes, I trade. What else? Let's go back and look at coin because I fucked up. So coin on the daily, man. These were your key levels. All right, you got that Lits between 246.52 to 248.22 is your Lits. All right, then you got this zone right here between 260.49 to 261.59. Right? And then your next level to the downside, if we drop below that Lits, Tim, that's your 200 SMA down here at 230. Those are your 3 daily zones and levels. Flip that down into a 5-minute time frame. What's coin doing? Surprisingly, gap down into that daily zone, and now it's bouncing. Okay? So, I like it. If you hold a higher low off this zone on coin, I would get long to 257.5. All right, because you're already starting to see good price action, man, off that daily zone. You're already seeing good price action. If you get a higher low push off that zone, that's a high probability trade. I think you get back up to 257.5. If we fall below that zone and retest it as resistance, I would get short down to that 230 level because that's the next area before we get a bounce, in my opinion. All right. Yeah, that's funny, right? I didn't even have the fucking thing switched over. We can just start calling Josh Boomer. It's okay. Yeah, call me a boomer. I'm getting there, guys. My back hurts. A memory shot today. Call me Boomer. I trade options. Occasionally, I'll trade shares of a stock. Most of the time, it's options. And I'm going to keep this open for 30 minutes today, guys, for free. I mean, of course, for free, but I'm going to stay live for 30 minutes. Usually I shut it down at 9:30. I'm going to keep it live so you guys can rehear the analysis as I give it again, since you couldn't see anything the last 30 minutes. All right, guys, what's up? What's up? Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up, everybody? Good morning, man. All right, since I dropped the ball, and I dropped the ball a couple times this. What did you guys miss? Do we need to go back through anything here this morning, guys? Anything that you guys are looking at that you want to take a peek-a-rooski at?
Good morning.
Tom, what's up, buddy? Good morning.
Not too much. I pulled up some interesting data for SPY and the Qs. Currently, if we look at pre-market from that all-time high, we're down 6% on the SPY, give or take a tenth of a point here and there, 7% on the Qs. So we are approaching correction territory. We're not that far off.
Not. Yeah, right now, yeah, 5-6%.
So that's something
that
to
200 SMA SPY puts you at like 8.5% off those all-time highs. So still not quite in correction territory.
Yeah, because the Qs would be at 485 for 10%. The SPY would be at 549 for 10%.
Yep.
So certainly something to keep an eye on. I think the market's looking for at this point for that type of pullback.
I agree. Looking at the overall technicals and looking at what's going on right now too. I mean, for sure, I think we can see that move down. I see. Yeah, we got some lower areas today. But yeah, if we fall below that 570 zone, Next little area is going to be like, 565. Then the 200 SMA down around 556. That puts you about 8% downside.
Because here's what I could see is you have this week with some key data coming out that might push us down to that level. Again, might, not saying it will. And then now you have the inauguration next week, which could be a catalyst to people to come back in and buy after we see a 10% pullback.
20th, so yeah, that's next week.
Yep. So it's a week from today.
Nice big gap down today. All right, let's go get some hedgies and let's start the day strong, guys. We got those plans built on the spine, the Qs. We're gonna wait patiently there. Depending on what Micron does today, guys. We were looking at that possible entry on Micron off 95.5, but at this pace with the overall market gapping down and still showing potential to move lower, if we get inside this daily gap on Micron, MU, the top end of this gap is at like 95.50. I would want to get short off 95.50 and play this down to 91 on some Micron puts and just take the gap fill short, guys. What's the gap fill short? Falling into the gap, retesting the top end as resistance intraday, and we could look to play that short from 95.50 down to 91.08. And that would be the next area. Look for a long for that gap fill bounce on Micron. Again, to give you guys those levels on the SPY. Next level of support to the downside, and we're going to dial this in a little bit more. Yeah, we can tighten this up a lot, actually. 574.37 to 574.51. We can tighten that up quite a bit. That's going to be the next area that I think we get a little reaction bounce off of. If we fall below it, hold below it, there is room down to that lower 570s here. All right, we got some hedgies here. SPY, we got a 575 monthly. 575 monthly hedge. Weekly is going to be at 570. Grab QQQ. QQQ, you got a 502.50 monthly. 502.50 monthly. Ooh, look at where weekly is. 500. I like that. You got that key daily zone and weekly hedge of 500 here on the Qs. I would consider a quick little scalp on some calls from like 500 back up to 502.50. But if we fall below that daily zone and weekly hedge and retest it as resistance, I'm definitely getting short down to 497. We've got to wait and see what side it sets up on. Micron is 100% inside the gap. Did we get a retest off the top? We have not. So I would sit back and be patient. Let's see if we can retest the top end of that gap at 95.47. If so, I would want to get short down the 91.08. If we don't get the retest to get short, you got to be hands off until we come down to the bottom end of the gap. If we see that gap fill today, I would play it long for a gap fill bounce, and that could be the start of a potential day trade that turns into a swing trade. I'd like to see it retest that 95.47 so I can take it short. That's also where that 50% retracement was. We didn't hold that level. Bounce. We can retest it as resistance. I would love to short down the 91. We all know those contracts will be cheap. Go grab some Micron hedges and see where it puts us. 95 is your weekly hedge. 93.75 monthly. Bouncing right now. You guys need hedges on anything else? Let me know. Yeah, Tesla was weird. Tesla had a misprint on Friday's candle. Like our low a day was like at 383, but the daily shows 377. Weird. So that just kind of throws me off a little bit. Having that Friday candle showing it came down to 377 at intraday, came down to 3. Like one big daily misprint. So I didn't really see a lot on Tesla. I wouldn't touch Tesla long until we get down to like at least 360. Okay. So I'm going to be hands off on Tesla until, again, we get down around that 60 level. Like, where did all my analysis go? All my levels went bye-bye. Populating on. Am I trading or just watching? I've been trading for 10 years, guys. If there's a trade in front of me, I will take the trade. Yes. Because you don't see a prop firm demo account populated on the screen that shows I made $15,000 where I can the inspector tool change it. Doesn't mean I'm not going to trade. Not what you're used to. I know. If I see a trade, I'll pull my Roth over, build a plan. We'll get some trades on the table if we have anything. I'm looking to trade my Roth. That's where I trade options on my investment account.
We just hit the lower end of the gap on the SPY.
I don't know what happened with all my TA on Micron.
And
Yeah, I
Q,
don't see any trading views screwed up because I don't see anything either.
Yeah, okay, it's not me then. Gotcha. Righty.
We just keep falling on the SPY, right through the lower end of the gap.
All right, let's see what we have here on the Qs. If we can order typed up. But that was an area that I was going to get long at that daily zone of support. You got weekly hedge as well and $500 psychological. If we have like good reaction down here, a couple good touch points, I might look for a quick scalp to the upside. Maybe back up to like high a day. And just a quick scalp. Tomorrow's expiration would be where I'm at. Find a 30 delta. So I would be interested in the 505s. Stops would be below 499.50. So you got about 50 cents risk. That's on the trade at 50 cents risk. I'm willing to risk 150 bucks. 10 contracts, 30 delta. It's about 150 risk. Got to run a bit of a downtrend here as well. So if we see that downtrend get hit, also be a bit of a retest off these prior lows in this year. So realistically, first target puts you at $500.80. 50 cents of risk. Yeah, I mean, you're under a 2-to-1 that one. Come up and hit a 3 off that downtrend. That's where you could see a reaction on back down. Risk reward under a 2-to-1. Not crazy about it, but it came down to that zone, came down to 500 weekly, and already popped up about 6-ish cents. How well are the contracts moving? Next question. Look at the IV on these. Mars expiration, IV is at 30%. Only thing that left the TA was on the spot or on the Qs. SPY's been wiped out. Micron's been wiped out. The only thing I see is on QQQ. Any of my daily zones in left. SPY.
Might eventually came back after a few seconds, but it's lagging really bad.
I had to refresh.
That work? Shut her down and we'll load her back up.
It worked for, I'm running 2 panels and it worked for the Q panel. The SPY is still blank.
Okay. Just a trading view issue here. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful. And now the Qs are gone. All right, so now we just sit back and relax, guys. Wait for the best of the best. My charts are having a hard time loading on up, so as soon as things load up and get better, if we have anything in front of us, I am ready to rock and roll and start the week strong and profitable with you guys. Right now, now the Qs, I don't see any of my daily zones. The SPY, I do. SPY's not anywhere where we want it to be for any kind of trade here. All right, so is there anything you guys are looking at? More than happy to review any stocks that you are checking out today. Help you guys get prepared while I sit back on my hands and wait. Good price action on the Qs. Yeah, I looked at SMCI this morning. SMCI has fell below every key technical level that I was looking at. So right now, since SMCI fell below 32, I'm not a fan of it. I wouldn't even get involved in SMCI until we get down around maybe like 25 bucks would be the next area that I think we could have a nice little bounce on SMCI, down around 25. But right now, the fact that we fell below 32, it just makes me want to be hands off completely on SMCI right now. Again, Tesla, I'm not looking to do any kind of analysis on Tesla. I mean, that daily candle misprint's kind of throwing me off. Again, I don't really see a whole lot today on Tesla anyway. I would wait patiently and see if Tesla can come down around 360, as I believe 360 is the next area. We have some pretty high probabilities and high odds of getting a nice pop and a nice bounce the upside. So right now we're at 386. I don't like these lower levels. I think 360 is a great area on Tesla for a nice little bounce. Netflix. Man. I mean, maybe you get a back test off this daily zone and you hold below it as resistance between like 859.11, 864.15. I think that's like a realistic area that if we come up and hit it and stay below it as resistance, I think we could roll and see a little bit more downside. I still think Netflix has realistic room down to like 815, 816 before seeing a potential bounce and a move back higher. I don't think we're going to necessarily have a strong bounce right here. I don't think this is a great area to be looking to get in. I would simply wait to see if we come back up to this 859.11, the 864.15 level of resistance. If we come up, back test it, get rejected, and we fail to break back above it, then I would consider getting short down around like 815, 816 on Netflix. But right here where we're currently at, I don't really see any reason to be getting involved with it. How many contracts do I typically buy? It really depends on the setup. It depends on the probabilities, right? If I'm looking at a average trade that I would say is a C, because I like to rate my trades like an A trade, a B trade, or a C trade. So like a C is like average. There's like an average trade with good risk reward, I'll take like 10 contracts. If I see a above average trade with good risk reward, 10 to 20 contracts. If I see an A plus setup, like one of the best of the best, I'll go up to like 30 contracts on those trades. So I get positioned differently for every type of trade that I see. Depends on the odds, the probabilities. Is it an A trade, a B, a C? It depends on risk reward as well, on how I want to get positioned. Nice little pop on the Qs. Got back up the high a day. Those options, though.
Yeah, I took that trade for the puts off of high day.
For puts off high a day.
Yep.
So you're currently up $1. Start trimming a little bit in this kind of market with how it's been whipsawly the past week. Definitely when you start seeing 50 cents to $1, I would start to trim. Definitely take some profits. Think about moving stops to break even and let those base hits add up to really nice days.
Okay, fine.
It's fine. Hey, I'm going to ride your ass like I read Kevin's ass for a few. Make sure we're
I'm gonna
making
need
good
it.
decisions. Kevin in 2 weeks made quite a bit of money. He got his first couple of big payouts. Futures. He hit his January goal in the first 2 weeks of January. That was on top of his ass for the last couple of weeks. I want to make sure that you're hitting your goals as well, man. Getting paid.
Yeah, I need it.
Cole with a one and done on Microsoft. Cole, dude, you've been just knacking Microsoft a lot lately, dude. Nice trade, little 250, one done. I can dig it, brother. Tough.
Yeah, I've been really liking my zones and gaining a lot of confidence in my zones on Microsoft. So,
and you've gotten to know Microsoft, how it moves, what you're looking for, and you've been hitting it really nice lately, man. Good work.
yep, thank you.
Absolutely, man. Come a long way in a short amount of time. 25. I keep saying it, man. It's gonna be a really good year for you.
Yeah, I've been. I was thinking this weekend like that. I've been trading 5 contracts now for 3 or 4 weeks. So I might jump up to 6 or 7 here in the next week and see what happens.
I think that's a good idea. You said 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think adding 1 or 2 at this point makes sense. kind of test the waters, going, 6, 7 contracts, feel it out. If you feel pretty good, run that for at least a week minimum. Just condition yourself to 6 or 7. And then every week, just do an assessment. Like say, okay, how am I feeling with 6 to 7? Am I still making good decisions? Still having good trades? If so, every week, just add 1 or 2 contracts and do those weekly assessments. How are things going? How you feeling? Eventually, man, you can scale much as you want in theory.
Right.
But I think you're at the point of definitely to start scaling. And you've, like you said, for over a month, you've been consistent. You're profitable, been very disciplined. So I think it's time to start the scale up process.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Buddy, good work, man.
Thank you.
What do I mean with good price action? How price moves off certain key levels, right? So if, you're trying to get long down at a key level of support, right? We need to see that there's more buyers than sellers, right? Because that's why price is going to move up. We have more buyers than sellers. We come down into a key level, we want to see price react. We want to see those candles react, showing us there are more buyers than sellers. We want to see it pop up, pop up, pop up. We want to see it bounce. We want to see it leave some lower shadows, telling us that sellers pushed it down, but buyer stepped in, pushed it back up. Buyer stepped in, pushed it back up. Buyer stepped in, pushed it back up. If you're going to get long off support and you expect price to move higher, you need there to be more buyers than sellers, right? That's what we mean with price action. How is price moving at a key level, right? What's the reaction on those candlesticks? Do we see, right? There are clearly more buyers than sellers compared on how those candles are moving. If we just come down to that key level, right, and you just jump in, what could we see? It just go right through it. And you're like, oh man, I took an unnecessary loss. Wait to see that there are more buyers than sellers off key support. And to the flip side, if you're coming up into a key level of resistance, what do you want to see? More sellers than buyers. You want to see buyers push it up, sellers slam it down. Buyers push it up, sellers slam it down, telling you there are more sellers than buyers present. And then we could see price to the downside. Basically, how are those candles moving in real time? Like in real time, if you look at the cues, we came down, buyer stepped in, buyer stepped in, buyer stepped in, tapped that lower zone 3 times, and then guess what? You can clearly see there was more buyers than sellers. Buyer stepped in, overpowered the sellers, and price moved up. And that was one of our game plans. Good price action off key support. We want to get long back to high a day. Nice little $1.50 push to the upside within 2 minutes. That's a nice move in 2 minutes. I was busy shutting my platform down because it wasn't loading, so I was never even able to see that trade in the first place. That was a trade, though, I wanted to take, but last couple of days, man, I think the universe is testing my frustration levels. Friday, I accidentally deleted my platform on accident from my computer, and I couldn't get it reinstalled quick enough, and I missed the one and done on the Spire of the Qs, and it was a nice short downside. I was frustrated, and I didn't trade the rest of the day due to my frustration. Today, I'm being tested again. A nice one and done potential trade. The risk was 50 cents to make $1.50 into high a day was the main target. Getting through that downtrend, that was a 3-to-1 risk reward. I was willing to risk 150, 160. Could have been a quick little $400, $500 trade. Nice little, one and done trade potential. But having some platform issues and never took the trade. Okay, sit back, relax, right? Seeing my trades play out 70, 80% of the time just validates I know what I'm doing, that there's going to be another trade right around the corner, and I will be ready for it.
I missed the same trade on NQ right at that key level too.
Good trade though. Here's the cool thing, man. We get to learn from it. Like, wow, we read it correctly. We were dialed in. Had a good plan built. It worked out in our favor. We see that happen time and time and time again. It just builds our confidence to take those trades when we set up. We're going to miss some. Of course we're going to miss some. At least we know ones we take, most of the time, they'll be winners. If they're losers, they're always going to be small losers.
Oh, yeah. I would have been one and done today already.
Been. You've been doing really good last week, man. I know we talked. You were up like 7 or 8 from the initial starting. Where are you at right now?
Let's see, where am I at?
Want to make sure we're moving the needle in the right direction, man.
I'm at 14 now.
Oh, you added another 7 to it?
Well, from the other day.
Okay. Yeah, because
From
you
the
logged out
Giovinazzi
on
trade.
Friday because you hit a nice little one and done. You had a couple
Yeah.
trades, not a one and done, but you exceeded your goal on Friday.
Right. Yeah.
And you're following the structure that we put together, correct?
Yes.
Dude, look how simple it is now, right? We have good structure, manageable risk, good realistic potential to lock in some profits, and you're able to still pull 500 plus with very, very low risk. And it takes a lot of the emotions off the table, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, for sure.
You're close, man. We got another 15 to go.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get that done soon. We're not going to rush it, but I think realistically, by the end of the week, that's doable.
I do too. Especially with big news coming out. It's highly probable.
Yes. Cool thing too, man, is we just focus on the good trades, best of the best. We focus on following the rules that we have in place, the account structure, and guess what's going to happen? Money and making money is just a byproduct. You could do that by Wednesday. You could do it by next Tuesday. Again, doesn't really matter, but we just focus on the process, and we know that we'll hit the goal that we have.
Yep, those base hits.
Absolutely.
Wow, it tapped that zone and it's going to go up to the next zone.
Those options move well. Tom got a quick little scalp on those QQQ calls. Good job. I'm glad someone took. Like I tell you guys all the time, as long as you guys are taking these really good looking setups, you're building your plans, you're convicted, as long as someone's hitting it, I'm happy. If I miss it, but someone hit it, awesome. How much do I make a year? I don't talk about how much I make a year. That sets a lot of false expectations for traders. I mean, other traders do it. They're like, oh my gosh, you can make that much, so can I. And I think it's just sets a lot of false expectations for traders. So I don't really showcase how much I make or what I have to gain followers, gain an audience or anything. I don't talk about it. So let's go ahead and back up a minute, right? Again, I was keeping the TikTok open for a little bit longer because you guys missed the rundown. I didn't have my stream switched. I know a lot of you guys on YouTube as well wanted to make sure that we were dialed in. We got you guys up and running. But the big question I have for you guys before I shut down the stream on YouTube is, does the trade make sense on the Qs? That was one of our what if plans, correct? Did our top-down analysis on the Qs. Build it down to a 5-minute time frame. We build our trade plans, the what ifs. We saw something play out. We came down to a key level. We had good price action. It popped to the upside. And it's moving a lot higher than first target as well, being high a day. Does that entire process make sense to you guys, from what you should be doing in the morning before market open to get prepared for the day, how to sit back and wait for the market to come to you, how to read price action correctly, and how to find low risk, high reward trades? That process makes sense. You guys have any questions about the process? I want you guys to be able to learn from this so you can apply it and be able to earn at the same time. I still think we have a good trade on the SPY. I mean, we have Friday's close, 580.49. We have that daily zone of resistance we discussed this morning. And we have that downtrend from Friday's session. So if the SPY can get up into those 3 levels, those 3 points, which I still think it's pretty realistic at this pace, if we push on up another $3, not unrealistic at all, this is going to be a great area where I take puts. So yes, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm going to have an order typed up ready to go, because if we see the SPY come up into that 580.49 level, hit that daily zone of resistance, close the gap, and reject off that downtrend from Friday, that's where I want to grab puts, as I'm expecting that we're going to see some downside off that level. That could very well be my one and done for the day. So let's go ahead and see which options that we'd be looking at here. I'll trade, tomorrow expiration, January 14th. I'd like to go 30-40 delta. So, I mean, these are going to change a lot. You push up another $3. Probably see the 577s be the ones that are the ones. Like right now, the 577 puts have a 45 delta, go 1, 2 strikes away. Now you're running about a 30. 3 points. So if we get a 3-point move to the upside, those 577s most likely have worked their way down to like a mid 30 delta. So I'm thinking 577s would be that we would go with at that time if that trade sets up. Now what do we do? Nothing. Literally. The most boring part about trading is you sit back and you do nothing until stock comes to you. Stock comes to you, react. Have a plan built, ready to rock and roll. And if it comes to you and it sets up the way that you expect, then you can react to the trade. But until then, you're just hands off. You're doing nothing.
Josh, what do you think about getting below the previous high of day on Qs again? I'm looking at that. Look at this candle right here, wicks below the previous 2 touch points on, or 3 touch points on the high of day, and forms resistance.
So maybe getting back below it, retesting with a lower high to get short.
Yeah.
I would like that. I think that'd be a good potential. If we come back below it, we have first leg up, first pullback, second leg up, second pullback. I don't like trading the third leg long, personally.
Right.
I'm
That's what I'm waiting. I think it's my plan is to, if it dips below right here.
Maybe something like that.
Yep.
Maybe you have a quick little pop, quick little reaction, get below those 3 touch points. That puts you at like 501.65, 501.70, and stay below it as resistance. Would I get short down to low a day? I think that'd be a good trade plan. Absolutely.
That's my plan.
I'm glad to hear you say that you don't like the third leg either. Like sometimes the third leg is a great third leg and we see nice upside. I would say it's 50-50, man. Sometimes we get those quick little reactions. We start the third leg and then boop, we start to work our way down a little. We look at the Qs. We have the first leg on up, first pullback. This is the best one. Second leg up, second pullback. This is where it gets, a little 50-50. Trying to catch those third legs. I like catching the second leg. First leg is hard to catch sometimes. This one was fairly simple because it was off a key level of support and you had weekly hedge as well. Nice little first leg up. Catching that second leg is a lot easier. You can run what? Fib retracements. You can went fib retracement from low to high. After the first leg, where'd you pull back to? 50%. Held it as support before doing what? Seeing the second leg to the upside. Those are typically the easier ones to catch. Leg number 2. I stay away from the third leg because the probabilities are.
Well, I'm thinking about the overall market trend too. If we're just going down, I don't know why unless we go back up to that top zone, but trying to trade with the trend.
Overall, big picture, always want to be trading with the trend. The trend is your friend. We come down some like pretty key significant levels while we're in a downtrend. Those are areas that we can start to see those bounces and at least have some nice low risk opportunity to play the market long. But I agree with you. You can sit back patiently and wait for the best opportunity to get short in a downtrend. That's going to be the best trade to get involved with. So there was your first leg, 50% retracement. Second leg, so then you just remove that fib. Go to that retracement low at $500.60. Run it up to that high. You back to the 61.8, starting to bounce a little bit. This is about the time you start to see a slight little reversal. Usually get first leg pullback, second leg pullback, start of a third leg, and you start to see at least step down, where now we're trying to catch short second leg. So the short on the second leg, the downside, 502.50 is monthly hedge. One, if that lined up with a fib extension level, that could also be a nice area to get short to catch the second leg to the downside. Let's go take a fib extension from swing high down to swing low. Back up to swing high. And yeah, that's right at that 38.2 level. See how this candle plays out here. Nope, nothing there yet on the cues. What we do, looks like we're going to push off that third leg. Next key level on the cues is up between 505.33 to 505.86. So I would not touch a short on the cues until we get up that top level. I'm still sitting back waiting for the SPY. I'm going to get short right around 580.50 on the SPY.
Hey, Josh, I picked up your message off of Zoom from a few days ago. I was out. We were at a wedding late last week for the weekend. So I just saw it this morning and I responded back.
Oh, on Discord, you mean?
Yeah, Discord. Yep. Take your pick.
Take your pick. Yeah, which one? Slack, Discord, Zoom, this place, that place? I gotcha. I see it. Awesome. Yeah, I would love to do that, man. I think it would.
That would be cool.
It would be very cool, wouldn't it?
It's funny you mentioned that because I was thinking not necessarily that route, but just a different way to like do something along those lines. And the timing of that was perfect because I've been thinking about that the last few days because I thought about it quite a bit in the past, but it came back to me as we were talking about some of those different things. I'm like, maybe something like that.
I mean, it plays into everything else we've discussed.
Exactly.
It really does. I feel very pulled to do it. It's weighing heavy on me, and I just like, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's not like something that I want to do. I just feel it pulling on me that it's something that I should do.
Because I play well off of conversation, others, stuff like an interview type deal. I think that would be really cool.
That's what I want to do. That's like where my head is. Two individuals holding it down, like the main two hosts, but bringing in other individuals in various niches to do interviews and have conversations.
Exactly. And have different subject matter at different points in time, whatever they might be, I think would be beneficial, but it would be really cool.
It would be. Yeah. And my wife's been telling me for years, you should do it. You should do it. I'm like, nah. But for some reason, the last week or two, it's just like, it's the only thing on my mind. I'm feeling called to do it because there's a lot that, I can do in that podcast to spread the word that I want.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have that conversation. I mean, we've talked about a lot. there's a lot we've discussed, but I think that's something else to have a conversation about. And it's actually fairly simple to get one going. Like, I have the tools set up. Spotify makes it very simple for creators to start. It's a very simple process.
And I already have ideas for that too, so we can
me
definitely
too.
we can collaborate on something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's have a conversation. Because
Awesome.
what do they say? You just got to do the first one.
Exactly.
Most creators don't even get the first 20. It's like, if you just get through the first 20, it's like you'll start ranking, you'll start moving on up. But you just got to get the first one done and get your 20, and then the traction comes. So, hey,
Right.
the first 20 could be rough. It's okay. That's how you learn, man. Trial and error.
Listen, I always like the saying, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step." And you got to take that first step before you can get to 1,000 miles.
Absolutely.
So let me know when you want to have that conversation. I'm available pretty much anytime.
Okay. Yeah, I got time today. I got time tomorrow. Don't have to rush it, but yeah, if we want to carve out 35 minutes someday, today or tomorrow, discuss that. Maybe a couple other things as well.
Let's do it today. Why put off
Okay.
tomorrow? We can do today.
Absolutely, I love it. So yeah, let's make it happen today. Maybe 11 o'clock.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, Rayo, your trade may be coming to you, man. I like how we came down to that level, and you at least saw a bounce off of it. So you saw resistance flip support. So now the game plan would be getting back below that region, testing it as resistance. Could be right around like 501.60, 501.70. Support down to 500. That's $1.50 downside. That would look good. That would carry some low risk, good reward. Technicals are there. Just cracked this uptrend as well, which I don't know how much weight I would put on that trend line because you never really saw a reaction in the first place. Retract that statement. Trading is a game of patience, guys. That's it. In fact, be patient. Know when to trade. Know when to hands. Like that one really good trade so far, and that was on the. All right, now we wait. I would entertain that trade too. Smaller size. I wouldn't go 20, 30 contracts. I'd go 10 on the type of setup. Not off of a daily zone, but that doesn't mean we couldn't see a nice little side here. I'd go like 10 contracts. Risk is nice and tight. If we get that crack below that level, let's see it come back up and retest it. Talking probably 20 risk. A very, very small risk. Got good reward. Got about $1.50 to the downside. So we could already see that that's going to be a nice, 1.5 to 1 up. So the good risk reward is definitely feeling. That would make me interested in taking it, even though it's not setting up of a key daily level. It's a lower probability trade, but with the higher risk reward, I can entertain that with smaller size, at least my risk is small, and if we see that nice 5-to-1, it's worth the risk. But it's got to set up probably about $1.60 downside. I think we can get away with like 30 on this. That'd be a nice crack below, nice proper retest, get in, tight stops, and looking for a pretty quick move back down the $500 here on. And even coming into the first target, you're still looking at a 3-to-1. First target, I would have to say he's going to be right in this area where we could probably see pop on back up. That's an area to trim a little bit. And if we can get below it, you're definitely at $500. That going to be a quick single? I guess that is a quick. Come up, tap it, react. I would quick little light trade. And nothing too crazy. Stops would be very, very, very tight. And honestly, we'd be looking for a very quick instant reaction to the downside. Volume on that. Volume stepping down. Crack retest. We had more conflict. Sides. Little intraday zone. Price action. The only downfall, yeah, lack of confluence. I'm hands off right now. I don't like that gap up in this candle.
Son of a bitch.
What's up?
No,
Nah, the move. I like the
This is
trade.
that reaction. I mean, this might be it. And yeah, I didn't like the gap up, but flipping red and getting that reaction to the downside.
thought you may have hit the wrong button or something, Tom. That was a visceral reaction.
Yeah, that I shouldn't have done that. That was my bad. I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
That's okay. I was like, oh, you okay?
I don't normally react that way.
That gap up there on that candle is just pushing up, closing, and then gap it up on the next one. That just kind of threw me off. Just wasn't expecting that. So, yeah. Take a fib extension from swing high down to the swing low. Run it back up to the swing high. Move that little light zone here.
Done for the day.
You smacked the first one really nice, though. That was a good one. You got a quick little dollar move out of it.
Yeah, I
Happy
gave
you
it all
took some
back.
profit. Happy you took profit.
I gave it all back. It's okay.
Yeah, let's get a call in the books, man. Let's definitely get something in the books early. Have a
Yeah,
conversation.
I'm slammed today, and then I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. But maybe like midweek.
Yeah, I mean, I have some openings on and Friday. Usually Monday,
12:30
Wednesday,
maybe.
Friday, I usually have quite a bit of openings for one-on-ones those 3 days. Tuesdays and Thursdays,
Got my one and done for the day.
got you a one and done. What was that, man?
Yep. It was a 4-1 on the ES. Played it off of a fib, off of my key zone at 5-8-26, all the way up to 5-8-36.
Just now?
Just now, just a few minute trade.
I can dig it, man. Dig that. And I like that little zone you were into down here. That nice break of structure and pulls on up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. And what do you go? Fib, low day, high day?
Yes.
Okay.
And I had confluence with my zone, so I felt confident doing it.
Nice. 4-1. You're risking 125. So that tells me you got yourself, 500.
Yes, sir.
Look at you, man. That's 2 days back to back, bro. I love it, man. So now we are very close. Goal, yeah, we'll hit that goal by the end of the week.
Yep.
Base, good structure, good discipline. That's what it's about, man. One and done. Come in, find the one good trade, back it. Just like that, man. You trade the rest of the day. You've made your money. Go enjoy the rest of the day, man. Enjoy that time.
Yeah, I got a honeydew list to do today.
Yeah, but what?
Honeydew list to do today.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. I mean, good work, dude. The last couple of days since our conversation on Thursday, you've been on point, man. But here's the next task for you: is every day, just reflect upon your trading day. Whether it was a great day like Friday today, maybe it was a good losing day. Just always take 5 to 10 minutes after you close down and you wrap up, just to really reflect upon your day. What were the things that you did very, very well with that you want to be mindful of for tomorrow to make sure we continue to replicate that? Was there anything that stood out to you the day that you want to work on? Something that maybe you're like, you know what, I wasn't really happy with that decision. That's something that I want to work on to improve on. Always just take, 5 minutes, reflect upon your day and project those positives into the next month.
Oh, I could tell you this. My biggest thing was patience, because I seen it hit, and then it was just making confidence in my structure is the thing. But so far, about 85-90%, everything's been panning out correctly.
And it all comes down to, number 1, patience, like you said, sitting back, waiting. Number 2, just having a structure to follow, discipline. Just like that, it makes trading simple, profitable. And when it's simple, when it's profitable, it's a lot more fun.
Oh, yes.
Emotions, there's not a lot of those fluctuations in PNL. It's just, it seems easy. It's enjoyable.
Yeah. Now I'm watching it go back down.
In and out, man. Get in, have your target, take profit. I mean, that was a very good decision. Nice trade on that. So to answer someone's question, I'm sure someone may be thinking about this. Josh, it's coming back down to your zone. You have all that support. Would you take it long? Not as a standalone. Like, even if we come down and have good price action, it's still not enough. I would want at least another confluence. I'd want something else present on the trade. Why is that? Because the first opportunity, always the best. First time you come down, first time you set up, first time you have good price action, the validated trade is always the best, right? Coming down for the second time with no other confluence just really lowers the probabilities that the trade's going to work out. But if you see another one or two reasons that's validating a potential long entry down here, okay, cool. You re-increase those probabilities by having multiple take it. But just because it comes down and just because it shows decent price action, just already has lower probabilities compared to the first opportunity. First one is always the best one.
And isn't it a rule of thumb if it taps it either 2 times or 3 times, the weaker that zone gets?
Depends.
I mean, I've heard that from
It's
other
50-50
people.
with
but
traders. Some say
That's
the more
true.
it hits a level, the weaker it gets. Some say the more it hits a level, the stronger it gets. Got to apply a lot of discretion.
Right. Basically, everything depends on price action anyways, but
Exactly. And depends on how we're coming down into it, right? Like if we are coming down into this key level of support, but overall building lower highs, right? Or we hit it intraday, the weaker it gets. To apply this on a daily, stronger it gets. Typically, you push off that level and bounce to the upside. It's weird.
yeah.
So like
Well-
those descending triangles intraday, we lead the shorts. Apply that same methodology with daily. More times than not, you see the bounce in the long. But there's a lot more things to weigh in, other levels, other analysis, or confluences, price action. We got to just really weigh it all out. Every trade is completely different. It really depends. So that's why I don't say the more it touches, the weaker it gets, the more it touches, the stronger it gets. I just really take each individual opportunity as a unique, brand new trade. And if there's something in front of me, based on those reasons I have, then I take the trade. But you're right, man. Price is what moves the market. So if you have the skill set and the ability to read price action properly, you're going to be able to find some really, really good trades. Most traders say, oh, it's hit this level 10 times. It's got to bounce. Let me take it on the 10th. Right? But they're not even reading price action and how price is moving. They just get in based on the number of touch points and boop, it cracks. Like, cool, we never had price action to get in there in the first place. Now we can wait for the retest and play it short while they're just scared getting stopped out, not even looking for the best of the best trade. All the things I've learned hard over the years. Trade the bull flags, trade the bear flags, the cup and handles, all the typical stuff based on how imperfect teachers taught me about trading. I had results, taken all the screen time and the experience I've had, and I've just gone back and what works, what doesn't work. Easy, quick 270 on SPY calls. Nice job, Tim P. Not even in here, but good job, Tim. SPY never got to the level, unfortunately. Really interested in getting short up around 580.50. SPY. Never got there. Qs, I think, is the next best opportunity. We'll see what we do down around weekly hedge and that daily zone of support and just let price action lead us into the right side of the trade. And we'll go from there. But give me a couple minutes. I'm going to use the restroom and I'll be right back. And we will see what else we have on QQQ. We'll be looking for maybe a trade down here up against all of this lower support. Got to see what price does. We hold it well. We start setting up for a break of this downtrend. If so, we'll get long. We come and drop below that level of the force. If so, we'll wait for the retest, play it short. Let's be patient and see what the Qs do over the next 3 to 5 minutes. Go from there, guys. I'll be right back.
You walk away for a minute and another trade sets up.
I know.
Missed it. Well, for me, I did the same thing. I stepped away. SPY got back down to 500. Boom, bounced right off of it.
Well, here's the cool thing is I would never would have taken that trade in the first place.
Ah,
That's the nice thing. I would have never taken it. But here's what I will take. We get this 0.3 rejection off the downtrend. Pull back, ideally. Hop into that zone and see a quick higher low forming. I would get long for a higher low push. Break of that downtrend on a 0.4. Run that back up to 502.50. Put stops right underneath this low. Right underneath $500, psychological, and weekly hedge as well. This is what the plan would look like. Entry somewhere around like $500 and like 43-ish cents. Stops, you're going to be about 50 cents on this one. And the goal is, I want to see the higher low push, break of the trend line. Just start targeting these previous highs. The first target would have to be like 501.50. But realistically, we can get second target up around like 502.30, 502.50. So what does first target give us? It gives us just at a 2-to-1 cents. Second target back up into this region here. You're looking at a 3-to-1, maybe getting a 4-to-1 risk reward out of this. So that would be falls, but it'd have to be a proper higher low, ideally off the top into that zone. We start to see it curl. See that higher low forming. We get long for the higher low push, break of the downtrend on 0.4. This is 0.1 up here. That's 0.2. Looks like we're putting in a 0.3. Want to see that 0.3 rejection. Nice higher low push. Break of the downtrend on 0.4. And we could get about a 4-to-1 risk reward out of this. We would be on 1 day till expiration. We'd be looking at some calls. And we would be on a 504. Pull back $1. Those will be right around a 32 delta. We would probably run, yeah, the 504. Actually, let's go with 503. Those will be in the mid-30s. 503.
you looking at daily or next day?
Next day. I can't trade 0 DTEs Roth, so I'm always going 1 day out. But 1 day out, looking at the 503s. Right now they have a 42 delta, but if we fall $1 here, those should be right around like a mid-30 delta on those. Got daily zone, looking for an intraday higher low with good price action. Already getting a couple confluences. Just the setup as a whole, right? Typically when you get those higher low pushes into the downtrend on 0.4, high probability trade that you get a break on 0.4 of those downtrends off of those well-defined higher lows. And what really increases the probabilities on these trades is when you have strong support underneath. So did we come down the strong support, bounce, or hitting 0.3? We did. That really starts to increase the probabilities as well. Now, if this was all just at a random area, I don't know how much I would like this trade because the probabilities wouldn't be as high as they are right now. Don't do it, Qs. Don't. That's good. Well, good trade idea, but. Oh.
Tell you, small caps may have a tough time in here going forward.
I was thinking that, and I flipped over to IWM to check it out. Not really a fan of where we're at. I wouldn't want to get short. Intraday, the short looks decent, but where we're at on the daily,
Not a fan for a swing trade, just because with the data coming out, it's just kind of putting the Fed on further hold. And right now, the small caps need lower interest rates. But there is a makeup trade somewhere coming up in that, but not yet. Because the performance for the last number of years has trailed large caps in a big way.
Nice, man. Tim over on YouTube. I forgot that YouTube was up. You guys are blessed today. You guys got a free open stream. Tim locked in almost $500 on the Qs. Good job, man. That was a very strong level, man. Came down, nice first entry off of it. This one never had a good enough setup for me. Maybe my goal for the year is just taking trades off zones and not really much into price action. Because I tell you what, 70, 80% of the time we hit these zones and expected. I just start back testing, just getting in off the zones without price action and see how my back testing goes. And if that's the case, start jumping in off the zones when we get there. Run some back tests and see what happens. No stream on the Market Chatter site. Yeah, Market Chatter's under development. Where are we at right now with mentorship students inside of a Zoom every day? I think the SPY could still set up now at this pace. I mean, if we get that pop up to that 580.50, I'm still getting puts. I like that trade a lot. And we were looking at 577 puts if we get there. I think our expiration on the SPY, 577 puts be the ones we would go with if the SPY gets up to that 580.50 level. Probably going about 50 risk, main target. Such a key level that I think at some point we get back down like low a day, maybe even monthly hedge. Like main target, you're talking potentially a 10 to 1. There are going to be some other targets on this move down where we scale out, but main target and back down up against monthly hedge. Please 10 to 1 out of that short if we get there on. I like it.
See, I would entertain sizing up on trade. I just don't trust this market at this point.
Not with the date we have in the next.
No, and just the way it's being traded, I'm just looking at the moves and just the last number of trading days. You just get wicked moves in one direction, and then suddenly it snaps right back in the other direction, or it snaps in the other direction, not right back. But
yeah, last Monday, Tuesday was horrible.
Oh yeah,
horrible. Today's not as bad. I mean, at least we're seeing some nice pops. We're seeing some quick follow through, not just seeing it wick around, which is nice. But yeah, last Monday, Tuesday was horrible.
A lot of whipsaw action.
Oh yeah.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, man.
Good morning, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
I'm probably late, like always.
Right on time,
Did-
man. Right on time.
Did it hit the SPY hit the gap fill rejection?
Need a gap fill bounce.
That's it. Gap fill bounce.
Yeah, we were below it. So the gap fill bounce was 50-50 because the bottom part of that daily gap at 576.71, and we opened below it today. So I wasn't even looking for a gap fill bounce because we were.
Okay.
But if we come
I
up
actually
into
had
Friday's
a-
close, can we see a gap fill rejection into Friday's close at like 580.50? Absolutely.
I think I had seen that, what is it, gap fill bounce on a daily, and then I zoned it into like a 4-hour, and I have found an order block right there on that 4-hour candle, where I was like, oh, that would be a nice entry. But then I saw it bounce off at a pre-market. Well, actually came all the way there, and then I started doing that little tap, tap, tap of candles. So I didn't feel, personally, I wouldn't have felt comfortable even jumping on that trade during market hours, since it was touched so many times on that 4-hour.
Yeah, I agree.
But I wasn't sure what it has done. And I think it was all that gap was all due to
The election.
the election, right? That's another reason why I was like, could I even consider that a good reason to even want to jump in on any swing? I mean, not a swing trade, but a gap fill bounce for that
100%.
reason.
If it would have opened above the daily gap level at the bottom and inside the gap, I would have definitely played the gap fill bounce long, but we opened below that level today. So I was like, I'm not even going to look at that level. We had some other key areas to keep on watch. And so the next one's coming up. We have a daily zone of resistance between, 580.50 to 580.92 for one. Number two, it's Friday's close. Push up, fill the gap in the Friday's close, see the rejection. And number three is we do have point number 3 of this downtrend from Friday. So you already have 3 confluences. Close the gap for a gap-filled rejection in the Friday's close, daily zone of resistance, and a possible 0.3 rejection off that downtrend from Friday. It's starting to look really good here. Really good. So
I
got
think
an
I
order
have
typed
that one
up
on.
ready to rock. I'm getting short
Nice.
up there on the SPY.
I think I have that one on my paper trade, trading view for futures, if I'm not mistaken.
So just to add to something, really just more, I guess, ask a question. We're talking about gaps. I mean, I know we look at certain gaps one way as opposed to another, but you look at the gap created off of the election results. To me, I look at that. That gap makes sense.
Yes, it does.
That's something you can certainly trade off of, because you start ignoring gaps for one reason or another. It's almost like, well, why take gaps into consideration at all?
I take all gaps into consideration.
Right. That's what I do.
That's me. Any gap. Now, if you start applying, supply demand methodology to those big gaps, you got to go look at, was it driven based on fundamentals? If so, then you
Correct.
start saying, okay, well, that's not going to be a really high probability of demand that caused the gap up, but we're still looking to trade it basically how we just trade a gap for different variables. So
I mean,
gap
of course,
obviously is a valid gap.
I did put it in as a paper trade on SPY, and from looking at it, it pretty much respected that 4-hour, and it's just, I think it's at $50 right now. And I said, okay, let's see what it does. But I went still off of that 4-hour candle once again, just to have more confidence later on in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
Hey, Josh.
because earnings
Could
can
you do?
be fundamentally driven because of the fundamental of the company. But I also let's just look at what happened with the election. It's anticipation of what may be coming under a new administration. And I put a lot of weight on that. Now, not everything is going to come to fruition, but what sectors will benefit from that certainly holds a lot of weight.
Yeah, and to kind of take that step back on gaps, I treat pretty much every gap as equal. That's it. I mean, if we have a nice gap that's at least 50 cents dollar wide, I'm looking to trade that gap. There's like 4 different really good high probability ways to trade a gap, especially if it's a big enough gap. So if that's a gap because of earnings, I trade the gaps. Gap because of elections, or a gap just because we had a sizable up or down through pre-market, post-market. Like, yeah, I still treat all of those gaps as equal. And if we see the gap set up properly, how we've been taught to trade the gaps, we still trade them regardless of what caused the gap up or the gap down. Was that Don that was trying to step in there for a second? Was that Mr. Don?
Yeah, I just didn't know what the 4-hour candle was. Is there a way you can pull up a 4-hour candle that Eddie was talking about?
Yeah, so he was looking at this 4-hour candle right here before that big gap up. See that little 4-hour candle right here from November 5th?
Yeah,
Oh, all the way back. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I see it. Thanks.
But like I said, only thing that made me kind of second guess it, it was just the whole. Well, and again, it's options, and I mean, if I'm not gonna, it looks different in what you call it,
Futures?
in futures. Yeah, it looks different. So if I was to trade that one, I had to be looking at SPY to be able to dial in the entry and everything. So, but I did see it, and I said, okay, I like that one. So I did put, like I said, a paper trade, and I knew I was going to be driving and everything. So if I can't manage it, I'm not taking options. But I did my
man.
first set it and forget it last night.
How'd that go for you, man?
It was a 3-to-1, two NQ, no MNQ contracts. I was willing to lose 100, made 300.
Nice, man. Just trading order blocks?
That one wasn't an order block. It was still in a candle that I saw an impulsive move on a 15-minute before I went to sleep, and I said, I like it. Let me put in an entry right here. I did the whole math and all that. I said one small contract here, another one here. If it touches here and it goes away, okay, fine. At least I got me one contract out of it. But then I zoomed in a 5-minute and I saw another one, another level that it could come up to. I said, okay, boom, there's my other small contract, still same stop loss. So maybe I would have lost $80. And yeah, no, I touched both contracts and then came down to my take profit. And when I woke up and I saw it on TradingView, I'm like, hey, it did what it was supposed to do. Awesome. And then I'm like, oh, too bad I didn't take that on I didn't put an order, because I was struggling trying to find a way to put the ATM order last night.
Okay.
And then I went to sleep, and when I woke up and I'm like, oh, well, and I'm like, hold on, I figured it out at the end. I remembered, I figured, once again, my memory's going bad, guys. And then I remembered.
Eddie, L-theanine, that'll help.
Oh, I've been drinking it every day for the last 5 days.
You've been drinking it? You don't drink L-theanine, you take it.
Well, that's it. Well, it's a pill.
Okay, it's a pill. Yeah, okay. All right, so you have the L-theanine pill. I thought you were like, you got an L-theanine drink, and I'm like, put me on to that, man.
Oh, what? There's a drink? Oh,
No,
okay.
there's
Well,
not. That's
it's a
what I thought
pill.
you
It's a
were saying,
pill. So then I remembered. I'm like, hold on. I did put in a trade on my Kanban account. Let me make sure. And I looked and I'm like, okay, don't show it on Top Step. And I'm like, oh well. And then I look at Tradeovate. I'm like, hold on, it does show it on Tradeovate, my profit. I said, yes, I actually took it.
I see.
So now I gotta log it.
Yeah, now I gotta lock it. Lock it up, man. I'm proud of you guys. You guys have come a long way. You guys have been doing really good. Showing a lot of good confidence, staying in your lane, taking the trades you know how to take, locking in some profits. Stick with it, guys. Here's another reason to get short on the SPY. If you take a fib extension from Friday's high into today's low, your 50% just so happens to be right up against Friday's close, daily zone of resistance, and yo down trend. So now you got a 50% retracement level. Boop. That's 4 reasons to get short. Right around this 580.50 if it can get there. But I think that's going to be a great area to get short if we can get that move on up. We still got some time.
And to be honest, I have a horizontal line on that price. I just can't remember why.
Friday's close.
No, well, I mean, I just looked at it on TradingView. I knew I put that horizontal line, I guess, over the weekend, but I don't even know why. So I guess that's a good zone also. God, I swear, my memory's going bad.
I think it's just Mondays, man. It's the Mondays. My memory feels like it's going bad too, but it's not. It's just Mondays.
One thing I will say about, I guess, drinking that pill, my brain doesn't feel heavy like weight. I mean, back then it did feel like it was just too much weight on inside my head. Like no matter how much,
I feel that.
no matter how much coffee I drank, it just felt like just
Heavy.
heavy.
Heavy. Foggy,
And-
heavy. And that kind of
Yeah.
just takes that off.
It has done that, yeah. That I agree.
I feel
Where
like-
I'm like, hold on, why does my head don't feel like, just feels like it's just light, and that I have noticed.
It's
Now,
good. And then you get 30 days of any supplement. I mean, a couple of days, you typically don't feel any kind of difference, any kind of supplement you take. This was right away, day one. I'm like, wow, I feel the benefits. Get yourself, 3 to 4 weeks of taking it. You're going to start to really notice a lot of night and day difference. I've been taking it for 2 weeks now. And I love it, man. It feels great. I feel clear. I feel clean. Like you said, it just takes that heaviness off.
which that just made me just not want to do much.
Someone's asking if I take those puts off the 580.50, which I will if we get there. If it sets up, I'm taking the trade, 100%. Will I hold it until tomorrow? It depends. Depends on how we move. We get in and the thing dumps, I'm able to take a majority of my position off the table for profit and then hold something into tomorrow with no risk. I will consider holding a runner into tomorrow. Yes. That's if we have a nice big dump and I'm able to take enough off the table to have a risk-free runner. Then yes, I will hold it into tomorrow. Portion of it. Not the whole thing, but a portion.
Hey, Ed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard if you put cinnamon in your coffee, it helps with your brain health. Gives you a little bit of clarity.
What was the supplement you were talking about?
L-theanine. This is how you spell. I'll pull it over. L-theanine. It's an amino acid found primarily in green and black tea, some mushrooms. Really good for your mind, brain. Again, my testimony with it is, again, it just gives you this really clean, clear, focused state of mind without any kind of like jitters or anything like that.
Oh yeah, no jitters at all. I mean, I drink
Cool, thanks.
really dark, heavy, strong coffee.
That
So the
will give
fact
me the
that-
jitters.
yeah, and there
Last
was-
Monday I had the coffee jitters. This does not do it. It's just a clean, focused feeling.
See, but that's you. For me, still no jitters.
Still nothing. I had way too much caffeine last Monday, man. I was vibrating in my chair. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, you had that death coffee. That's why.
That's why, and I'm still drinking it, but I limit myself. Now I know where my sweet spot is. It's 2 cups over 3 hours. I know you didn't have to keep the stream up, but I wanted to sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're welcome. Absolutely. I'm here to help. Always happy to be here and support you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys learned something today, which I'm sure you did. Looks like some of you locked in some great profits on some of these trades. And we do this every day, guys. We do this every day with our students inside the mentorship on a daily basis. Tons of opportunity to learn and earn and be able to make some. A little flat on the day though.
I don't know. Maybe we can do that once a month, and maybe we can have more people join.
I think it's a good idea. Maybe one a month. I always incentivize people. I'm like, hey, if we get 100 viewers and 100 likes, I'll keep the stream up. For sure, I'll do that periodically, but we got to rebuild the YouTube stream. We didn't do it for quite some time last year, but there was We had a few hundred people that would tune in on a daily basis, and I enjoyed it. All right, well, it's almost 11 o'clock. We're going to start wrapping this up here in a moment. We know what the next trade is, and that's SPY puts at 580.50, putting stops about 10 cents above 581 to give you 60 cents of risk. And we have a main target back down at 575. Main target. But there's still going to be areas where we want to scale out and get paid. So, for example, let's say this is what it looks like as we get up into that level. Where would targets be? Look left at all of the prior swing lows, and these would be places where we would scale out along the way down into that 575. So, first target, second target, third target, fourth target, and then main target. And so these would be areas where I would trim. Maybe take 5% here, take 10% here, and just scale out, get paid. Meanwhile, bring my stops down into profit to make sure that I do walk away from this trade profitable, regardless what happens. So, still definitely want to take that trade if it sets up, if it comes to us. If not, live the trade another day. We'll have 4 days this week, 4 big days. We got a lot of key data coming on up the next 3. So, there's going to be opportunity. Market's going to be here. It's not going anywhere. So if you're like me and you didn't have a trade today, it's fine. Sometimes it only takes 1 day and 1 great trade to make your week. I've seen that happen time and time and time again. So today is a no trade day. That's fine. I usually go about 10 days on average throughout a month with no trades on the day. But I'm still able to consistently hit and exceed my goal with fewer trading days and fewer trades, just waiting for the best of the best. So next trade that I see, that's my game plan. That's how I want to get positioned. I'm looking at the 577 puts on that trade. If we get there and we get those puts and we take that short, the delta on those 577s should be mid-30s. Let's just say, for the sake of it, we have a 40 delta. It's going to be lower, but let's build our plan based on a 40 delta. So how much risk do we have? We have 60 cents of risk on the SPY. What does that translate to per option? That's going to be, what is it? You guys know?
2 per option, 30 delta, that's 60.
60 cents of risk on the SPY with a 40 delta. How much risk per contract?
60 cents, 40 delta. That sounds like 40.
24.
Ugh.
24. So half of the delta on a 50 cent
Yeah.
move would be 20, but we're risking an extra 10 cents. So it'd be an extra $4 on the 20. So $24 of risk per contract. So I know what my risk per contract is based on a 40 delta. And then I know that my main target is a 9-to-1. Not saying I'm going to take the full position down because there are going to be areas to scale out. But let's just say we get all the way down to the main target. What's 9 times our risk? So 24 times 9. What is that? Wow.
180 something.
Right. It's it'd actually be
200.
240 minus 24. It'd be like 216.
Ah, close.
216. That's main target. That's a 9-to-1. So if you took one contract, risk 24. If you took that one contract down to target, you'd make right about 216 for one contract. So now we can assess our position correctly. What's your max risk allotment per trade? I don't go more than $500 a trade. If I took 10 contracts, I'm risking $240. If I take 20 contracts, I'm risking almost 500. Okay, that's in line with my max risk per trade based on my account structure. So let's just say I took 10 contracts, negative 240 would be my risk. Let's just say I took 10 contracts down the target. It'd be $2,100 of profit. Can I accept losing 240 to have realistic potential to make 2,100? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. I'm already okay with getting 10 of those contracts. But let's say we bounce from here up and we get short. Where's my realistic first target? Swing low. Where's that swing low? Be right here, hypothetically. That's a 5-to-1. Cool. So I can still get $1,000 of profit on this trade at a 5-to-1. We hit the next target. That's a 7-to-1. Looking good. So at least I know we have realistic potential to get well above a 2-to-1 risk reward, with realistic potential to get maybe our main target of a 9-to-1. But I see the risk reward. It's there. Good reward, low risk. You know what our risk is per contract if we decide to go with the 577s at that point in time. And honestly, it'll be lower than this because we're factoring this risk per contract on a 40 delta. If the SPY gets to 580.50, those 577 puts will probably have like a 35 delta at that time. So our risk per contract will be a lot lower, which means our reward will be lower as well, but at least our risk per contract won't be as high. It'll be probably around 16, 17. That's the trade plan, guys. If
Now
it sets up, I'm gonna take it.
This 240 that you're willing to risk, that's based off of, I mean, I don't know if there's any other traders listening as far as for YouTube or TikTok. Just because Josh is okay of losing 240, that don't mean, oh, well, Josh said he's okay with it. Let me jump in on it too. Hey, he has his own reasons why he's going to jump in at, and he's okay with losing what is it, 1%? So still, you got to do your math as far as for what you're comfortable losing, not just because Josh said so.
Exactly.
So me,
just because I'm
me,
okay
if
with
it was a
losing
1% on,
$240 doesn't mean you can. If you
Yeah.
got a $5,000 account, you can't risk $240. You could risk
No.
max 150. Okay, what does that mean? You can't take 10 contracts. You have to go like 6 or 7 contracts on that trade to not lose more percent. You always got to ask yourself, are you okay with losing that? Are you okay with losing 3% on the trade to make potentially 9, 12, 15%? You still have to have your account structured like Eddie's saying, and you still have to understand what your max risk per trade is and get positioned correctly.
not only say that because I used to be like, well, he's okay with it. I'm okay with it too. And then little by little, I said, no, I'm not okay with it.
If you got a
Well,
$1,000 account, you can risk, you know what, maybe $30. So you could take
Yeah.
1 contract, not 10. On your account size and which max risk.
Now, as far as for Disney, I don't know if y'all talked about it in the morning.
Inside the daily gap.
Yep.
You had your entry today at 108.48.
Oh, y'all did? Okay.
I mean, I didn't take it, but for those of you that were talking about it,
Oh, okay.
it's in the gap, and it tested the top end this morning at 108.48. So if you were looking to take this gap fill short, you'd want to get in at the top end of the gap. Top end of the gap's at 108.48, and that would have already laid out for you this morning. Would have given you a opportunity to take that short 2 times.
Oh, I've been on it in it since last week.
Okay.
On my paper
On
account.
the short though, you got in like 113.5. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I had what? Strike at 105, March 21st contracts. And I wanted to take it all the way for the gap fill bounce.
Okay.
I mean, it is paper trade once again, but I wanted
go.
to see what it does.
As long as you don't break above high a day today. Like if I was in the short, if I was paying attention, my stops would be at high or over high a day. As long as you don't break this downtrend and make a new high a day, you look good to the downside and you look good to see follow through. You start to fall below 107.63. In 107.63, if you fall below that, I think you really start to see some action to the downside.
Okay.
Probably get a bit of a bounce off that 50% daily fib at 106.66. Probably get a little bit of a reaction there, but that still puts you almost $2 in the profit if you got in at that 108 level today. I mean, that's still 2 points in your favor. Those options will. And then your next target will be 104. So take a little bit at the mid 106s and then take your rest down around that 103.80, 104, because that's the gap fill bounce level. And that's a key level that I think we bounce off of, and I want to get long down there. Yeah, Disney goes to the top of the swing limit. Yep. You get below Friday's low a day of 107.64-ish, I think you really start to drop hard to the downside with a little bit more momentum.
Yeah, that's one for Tom.
I haven't looked at Disney in a little while.
I think since last month.
At least-
Yeah, I can't
At
take the
least.
short right now because we're already $2 below. No, we're not. We're $1 below. Almost.
Yeah, that's still a
$1
big move on Disney options, though.
below.
That's a big move for Disney options.
Yeah, I kept saying $2 for some reason. $1. I was talking $2. If we get down to that daily 50% fib at 106.66, that'll be about a $2 drop to the downside. I think that's realistic to hit today. That would be about a $2 drop on down. And what? If you go with a 30 delta on Disney options, usually they're around 30, $40 on the premium. You're pushing like 80, 90% for every dollar Disney, give or take. And that's obviously thinking Friday expiration. They're cheap options most of the time.
Hey Josh, you see my thing on Palantir?
LTR? I did not. Where'd you post it?
On the swing trade in Discord.
LTR looks like a swing trade staying up in a couple days. Swing low, swing high. We got the same fit. We don't need to readjust. So what else do you notice besides your fib? I mean, I have a level down near the golden pocket.
So far, all I have is the 200 SMA and the fib drawn up on it. I noticed it was getting close to that 50% mark.
Yeah, 200 SMA is way down at like 38, so that's not going to be present.
But so far, that's all I've found so far on Palantir.
Well, I have this tight little zone. It's not like the most significant zone, but it's an area that I definitely want to unwatch. Like 58.50 up to like 58.87. That puts you closer to the 61.8 retracement level. I still think that golden pocket area is a great area to watch PLTR to see if we get any kind of like reaction out of it. And I think there could be a short-term swing back up towards around 67.
Okay.
Let's readjust this zone and see if there's a better zone down here. And 12 move on that gap up. So here's what I would say. There's a little zone between $60.90 to $61.57. If we come down into that zone, that's pretty much where that golden pocket is as well. And if we see that daily reaction out of it, I think that's where we start to move back up towards around $67. But if we come below that zone, I would sit back and wait to see if we come down to this 58, 54 to 59 level. Do the same thing, wait and see if we hit it and get a daily reaction off of it. And if so, same idea. I think there's potential back up to 67 here. LTR.
Yeah, that 59 level was some good support back in November.
And you got some like light demand right in that, top region, like where you saw a couple days of just kind of sideways.
Mm-hmm.
You gapped up a little bit here the next day and then pushed, broke that prior high in that 2 days. So looking at the move, you're like, well, that's not really a big impulsive, big candle, but you still broke the prior high. That was still over 10% days. So that's the first area that I would even be looking to see if we come down and have a reaction. If so, I could start to justify an entry down around, that 61 level. Pretty close to that golden pocket. But if we don't come down and see that reaction, I would just completely remove that zone altogether and wait for it to come down around that 58, 54 to 59 level. Do the same thing. Wait and see if we get a nice little reaction off that level. And if so, get long, stops right below that zone. And I think realistically back up towards around 67 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll look at if it gets to that level, the RSI is becoming oversold.
Oh, yeah. Think about it. If we drop another $6 to the downside, you'll probably be sitting in over territory. Absolutely.
But $6 is another 10%
Yeah.
from here.
According to a stochastic RSI, it is oversold.
Right.
It's been sitting there for like 5 days now.
See, overbought and oversold can sit at those levels for a period of time. That's the interesting thing, whether it's the indexes,
Right.
the individual stocks. So that's why I'm saying if we get further confluence that it does get to those levels and it continues to be even further into oversold level, it would set up for a nice trade.
Other confluence. Yeah, but to hit on what you said, Tom, look at how long we set and overbought. We set overbought from November 5th until about December 24th. And then at the same time, we just kept ripping in the all-time highs.
Mm-hmm.
RSI is just sitting there and overbought. So that's why I don't like using RSI for overbought, oversold. It's nice to like see where it's at. It's a light confluence, but when you see divergence on the RSI, that's very powerful. Start to see bullish and bearish divergence. But you got a lot of that. The LTR. RSI is working its way down. Meanwhile, we're just sitting here making all-time high after new all-time high after new all-time high. See all of that bearish divergence, and eventually we start breaking down.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to leave you with that SPY trade if we get there. I mean, at this pace, I mean, it's very unlikely, but if we do for some reason pop $3 to the upside in the next 30 minutes, 5 minutes, that'll put us right where we want it for the short. That's if we get that push on up in that 30, 45-minute window, which it's possible. I mean, here within 20 minutes, we saw the SPY go from 576 to 579. It's a 3-point move in 20 minutes. So realistically speaking, we could see that push on up to that 580.49. You guys have the plan built. You know your multiple reasons. You know my expiration, my positioning, how I'm looking to get involved with this. That sets up, I will be taking it. My stop's at my target, all that good stuff. So you guys are set. But for now, I'm going to cut out. I'm going to jump on a quick call here. I want you guys to have a blessed rest of your day. Continue to trade smart, trade safe. If you need anything whatsoever, you know where to find me. I'll see you guys back here Wednesday morning, guys. Remember, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm not here all the time. If I have time open up Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll definitely be here in the morning. So tomorrow, if I got some time to open up, I'll be here. But on Thursdays, I'm 100% not here. I have my men's group Thursday morning. That's from 8 to 11. So moving forward, I will not be able to be here on Thursday. Occasionally on Tuesday, hop on in, see what's going on. But Matt will be here, holding it down. I believe in you guys. You guys know what you're doing. Work together, have some fun, make it happen.
Thank you, Josh.
Absolutely, guys. Appreciate you for being here. And again, if you need anything, you know where to find me. Reach out to me. You need to get a one-on-one scheduled. Let's get something scheduled. Let's just make sure you guys are rocking and rolling for the start of the new year.
But one question, Josh,
What's
or
up, buddy?
permission. I know the Zoom goes off at a certain time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Have you brought it up, Kevin? Where we
Kevin's
could
not
probably
here.
have it a little bit late.
I talked to Kevin.
Okay.
I talked to Kevin on Friday. For those of you that want to come in the evening for futures and work together, feel free to come into the Zoom. The Zoom you can open up at any time. I'm going to set Kevin as a co-host. So at least
Okay.
Kevin can come in, share his screen if he wants, give you guys the capabilities, share your screen as well. Honestly, because there has to be a host or a co-host here to do any kind of screen
Gotcha.
share capability.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get him into a co-host and let him give you guys the capability to share screens if you guys want. But yeah, that'll be open for you guys. Want to come in at night, do some futures trading together? Feel free.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, Tom, you want to just jump in a quick breakout since we're here?
Absolutely.
Let's do it before my back gives out on me.
My back is killing me today too.
I don't know what it is, but it's hurting my ribs.